Ethan back today for an album review, and I'm going to be reviewing and shining the spotlight on a great album, an album that I recently have been listening to a lot. I recently bought it with my Christmas money. That's what I do when that's what I do as an adult at Christmas. Is I buy myself CDs and records, right? This is the band's fifth album, a classic rock band, a band that I haven't really listened to a whole lot up to, I'd say, about a year ago. I'd only really known their hits before that, heard on the radio or whatnot, but the more I dug deeper and kind of explored their catalog more, their discography, I really found, wow, they have some great songs and some great albums. And this album that I got is one of theirs. That's probably one of my favorites. It is Blue Oyster Cult Spectres. It's kind of got a little glare. If you can see, let me see if I can turn it. There you go. It's a little better. Get the guy sitting right there. Blue Oyster Cult Spectres. This is their fifth album. Blue Oyster Cult actually started in the late 60s as a psychedelic rock band called Soft White Underbelly, which is a reference to Churchill during World War II. He called Italy the soft white underbelly of the Axis. I really love this album. Their early albums, their first four, are really good. Kind of heavy rock, psychedelic. They always had that kind of flair for the dramatic, kind of little eeriness and a little quirkiness in their music. I like that about these guys. Even the title itself, Blue Oyster Cult. You know, it's kind of off the wall, weird, obscure, and they always had interesting lyrics and just a uniqueness to their music and a quirkiness, like I said, that's kind of their own. And they were influential to the later hard rock acts in the 80s. So the band consisted of, this was considered the classic lineup, which was Eric Bloom, who sang most of the songs, not all, on stun guitar and vocals. Great singer. Donald Buck Dharma Rozier, most people refer to him as Buck Dharma, lead guitar and vocals, great guitarist. Alan Lanier, keyboards and rhythm guitar. Joe and Albert Brouchard, who are brothers, on bass and drums respectively. And Brouchard did some keyboards as well. I want to point out, I think this band has a really underrated rhythm section. Those two guys being brothers, they were always in sync, and the rhythm section just had a real nice heft to it. The bass and the drums just always just perfectly in tune and just cranking throughout pretty much all their albums that I've heard. I haven't listened to a lot of their later catalog, but their first five albums, and this is their fifth, are really good. So the tracks starts off with Godzilla. Boom, 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 boom. Great heavy rock song. Love it. Catchy chorus, just a fun song. That's another thing about Blue Oyster Cult. They had so many fun songs, but also they had some creepy songs, some kind of eerie, more darker sounding songs at times. So it was a nice mix of the two. The second song, Golden Age of Leather. Really great song. Underrated gem from this band, in my opinion. You know, if you just know, as I did up until recently, you know, he just really known the hits, Burning for You, Don't Fear the Reaper. Great songs, but man, this band and this album has so many other great songs, and I'm really coming to see that, exploring and getting into their music. Golden Age of Leather, just a song that's fun. It's talking about the biker rock era, sort of like the Steppenwolf, Born to Be Wild, kind of has that kind of rhythm to it. You know, of the late 60s, is kind of, they're tipping their hat to that sort of period in rock, so to speak. Great song. Just that chorus at the end when they're singing Golden Age of Leather, the sort of like children's choir kind of sound. Really great song. Check it out, Golden Age of Leather. Third song, Death Valley Nights. Kind of a slower, more somber song. Kind of a little eerie sounding. Wonderful vocals. Eric Bloom and Buck Dharma usually sang harmony vocals on a lot of these albums, and they were a great pair. They had a great harmony. Their voices complemented one another very well. They all sang in the band except Alan Lanier, the rhythm guitarist and keyboardist. For the most part. Even he may have sang a little bit in the backing vocals. The next song is a fun little catchy song called Searching for Saleen. Great kind of a rock pop number. The fifth song is called Fireworks. Really good song. Kind of a heartfelt, more ballady, kind of a somber song. Really good song. Those first 5 songs, side 1 of this, fantastic. To me, it drops off a little bit on side 2. The songs aren't quite as good as I'll go ahead and dive in here. Are You Ready to Rock is the 6th track. I like it. That's a pretty good song. Now the next 2, track 7 and 8, Celestial, the Queen, and Going Through the Motions, don't care for them. They're kind of poppy. They're kind of ditty, kind of boring, kind of cheesy. Don't like those songs too much. Take those 2 songs off this album and it's just, every song would be great. The 9th track is called I Love the Night. Kind of a dreamy, more psychedelic, kind of a little creepy song. And then the last track is excellent, called Nosferatu, about, Dracula, Transylvania, sort of the tale of Nosferatu. Not too familiar with it, but really interesting choice of, really interesting topic to write a song about, with the lyrics about Dracula. Interesting. And the title itself called Spectres, I guess a specter is like a ghost or a spirit of some sort. So it kind of has that vibe in some of these songs, kind of almost like a Halloween-y, but also at the same time fun and quirky. That's how I would describe this album. There's the, see it without glare there. Got the little booklet in here, which I intend to read. There's a shot of the guys right there. Kind of dressed in suits and top hats, kind of, they kind of had that quirkiness about them, dressed all, like they're like 18th century Britain, being, an American band, and they're from Long Island, I failed to mention. They are from New York City, so an American band, a great American band, really. Probably one of the most underrated. That's not just my opinion. That's other people I've heard say that. They feel like this is one of the most underrated American bands from the 70s, and I would have to agree. But yeah, just every song is really good, except like those, like I said, those 2 in the middle that are kind of like a slump. It's like it starts out Godzilla. Just those songs are just fantastic. Golden Age of Leather, Death Valley Nights, and then it kind of sinks to those songs and then goes back up at the end with Nosferatu. So, in 10 tracks too, so pretty long album. It's a good 40-45 minutes, so it's no short little fly-by album. You get, your money's worth, and so to speak. And I got this for like $6 on Amazon, so I thought it was a steal. Again, this is their 5th album. To me, kind of their last real good album. The next album is called Mirrors. And then Fire of Unknown Origin next with Burning for You, classic rock hit staple. The one before this one is Agents of Fortune with Don't Fear the Reaper. That's a pretty good album. The one before that, Secret Treaties, is really good, kind of more dark and heavy. Tyranny and Mutations, their second album, 1973. Their first album, 1972, just called Blue Oyster Cult. First 5 are great. If you want to, explore Blue Oyster Cult and want a place to start, I would say check out the first 5 and definitely check out this one. Very good. Just little of everything. Rock, pop, great guitar solos, great vocal harmonies, fun, interesting, quirky lyrics. Check them out. Check out this album, Spectres by Blue Oyster Cult. I really like it. I'll probably end up getting more of their albums, but how would I rate this album, or how many stars would I give it? I'd give it 4 out of 5. It's a 90 out of 100. It's not perfect. It's probably not, like top 20 albums of mine, but it's good. I like it. It's worth getting. Love the band. Love the sort of different stuff they bring to the table. Yeah, 90 out of 100 for, get rid of that glare, for Spectres by Blue Oyster Cult. Thank you for watching this album review, spur of the moment album review.